Hey guys, it's Shadow Arty here, back with another 6th Gen Wi-Fi battle. Now today we've got an OU match against Crete. Now let me tell you guys, this is an OU match, but it doesn't even feel like an OU match because of all the UU and RU mons. I challenged my opponent Crete to an OU match, but he decided to bring all these different mons, which is definitely okay. It's really fun to see different kinds of Pokemon used in the higher tiers, so definitely this will be an exciting match. So looking at the team preview, I've got an Assault Vested Conkeldurr with Ice Punch, Knockoff, Mach Punch, and Drain Punch. I got a Choice Spec Strigology, a Physically Defensive Zapdos with Defog. However, that's not really going to matter because my opponent doesn't have any entry hazards anyway, and neither do I. My next Pokemon is actually an offensive Milk Tank, not the standard defensive support one you normally see. My next Pokemon is a Mega Beedrill. It's the same Mega Beedrill I used in the last video, so yeah. And my last Pokemon is a specially defensive Vaporeon. Now looking at my opponent's team, he's also got a Vaporeon. I'm going to assume it's also the same set as mine, the specially defensive kind. And he's also got an Excavalier, which is actually a pretty big threat because I only have one fire move on my entire team, and that's Heat Wave with my Zapdos. However, he also has a Typhlosion, and if you guys don't know, the newer Typhlosions actually have the Flash Fire ability, so that's going to be a little bit dangerous to even hit the Excavalier with, because I will never know if he'll predict that and bring in the Typhlosion. He's also got what's this thing? The Trevenant, but I'm not really that worried because my Milk Tank does have the Scrappy ability, so it's not really the worst thing in the world. He's also got a Hitmontop, again for rapid spinning, but really I have no hazards anyway, so it's not really going to matter. And looking at that final Pokemon, it's that Plusle, and that Plusle is scaring me because I don't know what to expect from this Plusle. The first thing I'm thinking that it might be, it's probably either Choice in some way, probably Specs or Scarf, but we're definitely going to find out in this match. So why don't we get started with this match? So I'm going to lead off with my Conkeldurr because I do carry Knockoff, I carry Mach Punch. If I need priority, I'll use it. As he's just going to lead off with his Hitmontop. That's okay, but he does intimidate me, which does lower my attack by 1, which is a little bit unfortunate, but then again, what are you going to do? I just decided to go for the Knockoff first turn, just to knock off whatever wants to come in. He actually decides to stay in and go for the Fake Out. Nice move on his part. It does a pretty good amount of damage, and that does a little bit too much. Then he goes for the High Jump Kick next turn. I decided to just stay in and just go for a Knockoff again, and that High Jump Kick did way too much damage. It turns out that he's Muscle Banded as I knock off that Muscle Band, so this Hitmontop is going to do a little bit less physical damage to me, which I'm completely fine with. I decided to bring in my Zapdos now, as my Zapdos is a pretty good counter to his Hitmontop, as he just goes straight for the High Jump Kick. And look at that, that does absolutely no damage whatsoever. So I'm in a pretty good position here. I actually decided to Volt Switch, as he's going to make an amazing, very risky play, and it's completely amazing on his part. He's going to bring in the Plusle right away. I was not expecting this at all, because like I said, Plusle is very fragile, and he does get the Lightning Rod ability. Now, I actually decided to stay in here. It probably wasn't my best play, and as I decided to go for the Heat Wave, I probably should have just brought in Vaporeon, and even though Plusle does beat Vaporeon since it is electric, my Vaporeon is a specially defensive Vaporeon, so it could probably take any hit. As he now decides to go for the Nasty Plot, as I miss my Heat Wave, and that's very unfortunate. And now this is at +3. Now this Plusle is really scary. He then goes for the Hidden Power Ice, and that lets me just survive. I actually decided to go for the Heat Wave again. It probably was a risky play because had he brought in Typhlosion with the Flash Fire, I would not be in a good position. So thankfully he did not bring the Typhlosion, as I actually just decided to leave my Zapdos pretty much as death fodder, because really at this point I'm afraid to bring in anything else. If I bring in Vaporeon now at +3, Plusle is still going to be very dangerous. So I actually decided to bring in my Conkeldurr now. I can scare this thing out with a potential Mach Punch. He knows this, so he's just going to withdraw. He's going to make a nice play and go into the Trevenant. But I do carry Knockoff, and I can go for that. However, next turn, he's going to make a great play, go for the Phantom Force. However, since Phantom Force is a 2-turn move, I can just go into my Milk Tank, and the Phantom Force won't do anything since I'm part normal. So, not part normal, I'm all normal. So, he really can't do anything to me at all. So, Yeah, so I decided to just go into my Milk Tank to absorb this Phantom Force, and I can just go straight for the Body Slam right now, because I do carry Scrappy, and I figured it would do a lot of damage. It does almost exactly 50%, as he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, but unfortunately for my opponent, he does end up missing, and that's going to be really unfortunate. He actually decides to stay in again. He's thinking that he could probably live this Body Slam, maybe hoping for minimum damage. Unfortunately, I get probably, I don't know if it's minimum damage, but I do have, it's just enough to take him out, so... The Trevenant does go down as he brings in the Hitmontop. Now, nice play. He intimidates my Milk Tank, lowers my attack a little bit. I'm really now forced to switch. I don't have my Zapdos anymore, so I really can't counter this Hitmontop. So this Hitmontop's going to be a little bit more dangerous. However, I still have my Specs Dragology that does resist his stabs. So I'm just going to go into my Dragology now. As he goes to the Fake Out, it was a pretty obvious play, as I just decided to go for the Draco Meteor. It's a Specs Draco Meteor, so not really anything wants to take it. He actually decides to go into the Vaporeon. And you're going to see how much damage this does. This is a Specs Draco Meteor, and that does like 95%. That's just amazing, amazing damage, and that's going to be amazing for me. As I actually just decided to go stay in and go for another Dragon Draco Meteor, because it's really my best play, as he just goes straight for the Wish, maybe hoping that I would switch or pull or do some crazy move, I don't know. But I just go straight for the Draco Meteor and take out this Vaporeon, so that's a pretty big special defensive wall out of the way, so now he can't absorb my hits as much anymore. So the Vaporeon's dead. I am at -2 attack now, minus 2 special attack, excuse me. So I'm going to be forced to switch now, as he brings in the Excavalier now. He knows I'm Specs, so I have to switch. Unfortunately for me, I really have nothing to bring in, so I actually just decided to bring in my Milk Tank. It's really my my safest switch in, basically. He goes for the Swords Dance, and that's very, very scary now, because this Excavalier is now at +2. I just decided to go straight for the Earthquake. I really have nothing else to hit this Excavalier with my Zapdos dead now. So I just go for the Earthquake. It maybe does a solid 35%. He then goes to the Mega Horn. Luckily for him, he doesn't miss, because Mega Horn has a pretty big accuracy to miss, and my Milk Tank does go down. So that's going to be kind of unfortunate for me. Now, here's where I make a great play. I bring in my Dragology. I fake the HP Fire. Now, I actually do not have the HP Fire, and he brings in the Typhlosion, predicting the HP Fire to come in. I actually go for the Shadow Ball, just in case he decided to stay in, since I don't carry the HP Fire. So it was a great play on my part. I did a ton of damage to this Typhlosion, and I'm really, really happy. So now, I can just bring in my Vaporeon. I can pretty much take any hit this Typhlosion wants to go for. He just decides to go for the Flamethrower. Again, I don't really care. And now my best play is just go for the Scald. Nothing on his team really appreciates taking a Scald, so his best play is to really just let his Typhlosion die. Typhlosion die. So he decides to just go for the Eruption, just to deal some damage, maybe hoping I would switch, but really I have no reason not to. Reason to switch, excuse me. And I just go for the Scald, take out this Typhlosion, and now he really can't absorb any more of my fire moves. However, I don't even have any to continue anyway. So now with that Typhlosion out of the way, he can pretty much bring in anyone he wants. He actually decides to bring in the Hitmontop. Again, I should probably just stay in, because I don't want my Pokemon to take unnecessary damage. He does go for the Fake Out, which I really can't do anything at this point. This Vaporeon doesn't carry Protect, unfortunately. I figured Wish Protect was a little bit cheap, so I actually decided not to bring it to give my Vaporeon the Protect. So I actually decided to pull a switch now, predicting the High Jump Kick, as I go into my Dragology, and I figured I could take this High Jump Kick pretty well. I didn't take it as well as I wanted to. It does maybe about like 30%. However, he then goes for the Sucker Punch, so that's going to be a little bit unfortunate for me. I knew I could probably take the Sucker Punch as I go for the Draco Meteor, and this will take out the Hitmontop, because I'm Specs, and Hitmontop doesn't have the greatest special defense in the world, so the Hitmontop's going to go down, so no more intimidating the rest of my team. So that's going to be really awesome for me. He now decides to bring in the Plusle now, and I could Draco Meteor right now. But, actually, I did decide this is Draco Meteor, excuse me. As he goes for the Hidden Power Ice, I thought maybe I could live it, but it was very, very unlikely, because I was at low HP. But then again, it's still a Plusle, so, you know. I decided to bring in my Mega Beedrill now, and I figured I could pretty much take any hit from this Plusle, because he's not powered up, and even though Beedrill's pretty fragile, we're still talking about a Plusle here, so... I do decide to Mega Evolve right now. I can just go for the Drill Run. He's just going to go for the Thunderbolt. I'm not part flying, so that's not going to kill me. If you guys don't know, Mega Beedrill is Poison and Bug. I always get his typing confused. For some reason, I always think that he's flying. I guess it's because he has wings. But that aside, I just decide to go for the drill run, excuse me, and take out the Plusle. So his final Pokemon is that Excavalier, and right now I just want to deal as much damage as possible, bring this Excavalier down to a point where I could take it out with my Conkeldurr with the Drain Punch. So I just let him kill me. He's down. He missed about maybe like 20%, and I can just bring in the Conkeldurr now and just kill it with the Drain Punch. So even if Drain Punch didn't kill, I still wouldn't be that worried because I don't think he still would have been able to kill me. Conkeldurrs are pretty bulky anyway. So the Excavalier does go down, and that is going to be a 2-0 victory in my favor. So that was a really fun match, and I was not expecting this Plusle to do work. It took down my Zapdos and was a pretty big threat. Luckily, I did take it down, so that was a really fun match. So the lesson I learned in this match, definitely do not underestimate any Pokemon, because if you see a Pokemon in a higher tier that you probably haven't seen before, chances are there's a special set that it has to really confuse you. So definitely don't underestimate that Pokemon. So that was a really good match, and hopefully you guys did enjoy. Definitely leave a like if you did, and I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace, guys.